So, I was just thinking about desire and how, yeah, how I want so much to be desired, especially by a guy. I think to be wanted and desired by a guy, a man, um, especially someone you like, it's gonna give you a tremendous amount of self-confidence. Gonna make you feel really good. And there are a few guys in my life where I kind of liked them and had this kind of emotional thing there. But I was presenting as male, I had a male body, and you know, that was like an obstacle because they weren't gay, and I'm not gay either, so. Yeah, but I wanted that kind of, something could have happened if I was a different gender, if I was a girl, if I presented as a girl, you know? Mm. So yeah, I was thinking about like how part of transitioning for me is like, I would like to get to a stage where I, guys desire me, they want me, and I think that's such a wonderful feeling to be wanted and desired. Some of you genetic girls may take it for granted when guys desire you, but for me it's like, oh, I want that so much. It gives you a sense of self. I wouldn't say self-worth, but it really confirms, it makes you feel really good to be desired and wanted. Especially for women, to be desired and wanted is, I don't know, it has something to do with sexuality or identity, gender, even. I'm not saying you have to seek approval from others, but to be wanted in that desiring kind of sexual or romantic way or whatever, this just make you feel really good. I never could receive that. Like, I just couldn't understand. Like, when I was, with girls or whatever, I just didn't. I couldn't understand. Like, I never really felt like someone wanted me. I don't know. I just couldn't feel that feeling of being desired and wanted. I just couldn't feel it. But I don't know. It seems like guys can express desire and want more than girls. I don't know, because girls seem to be like they receive it, whereas guys give it. Guys give the desire, the girls receive it. I've never had that feeling of being desired and wanted. I've never felt that way. That's why I guess it sort of hurts my confidence a bit. Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's an experience that I would like to have in the future. Being desired and wanted for being me, this woman, this transgender woman, or whatever you want to call it, but someone who really wants me and desires me. That's just such an amazing thing. wish I could have that experience. I wish I could have that experience. You know, a person, guy. I hope I can meet a guy. Really, I want to meet a guy because I can't be with. One reason I can't be with girls is even though I find girls like attractive or whatever, it's just like I can't be the leader in a relationship. I really can't. I want to be with someone who's actually the leader. I've always had that thing like the person I was with is like they were the more leader type people, and I would like be this follower or whatever. Like I can't be in the lead. No, I want to be led. I want to follow. I want to hold their hands. Like even like years ago when I was drunk, I was like at 19, and it was the first time I got drunk, and I was at a club, and I was with this guy. He was a bit older than me, and he was this leader type guy. And when I was drunk, all of a sudden I started just holding his hand, and it felt really good holding his hand, and I just did it. And he said, hey, Jay, stop holding my hand. People might think we're gay or something like, or whatever. But it really felt so good for me to hold his hand, and it was like, oh, it felt so nice. So yeah, I want to hold. I don't want to take the leadership. No, I can't do it. It's not something I want. It's just not me. No, so I want to be with someone who is going to be the leader, who's going to be. Usually it's the man's role or whatever. So yeah, finding someone like that is a really good man. I'm just sort of getting used to this idea of like talking about men because it's been all in my head. I don't really I've never really expressed it. I've never really talked about it much. Yes, I've made lots of videos, but in the past, but. It's just this idea of when you articulate it, it's like, oh, I just said it, Whereas if it's just in your head, it's just in your head. But when you say it, it's like, oh, I just said that. I want to be with a man. I just said that. It's like I want to be with a man. I want to be desired by a man. It just feels like, oh, that's the first time I'm saying it. It's like, oh, I said it. So it feels kind of like, oh, odd. It feels like, I don't know, but it's there in my head. Articulating it is like, oh, I'm just saying it, and it's gotta settle in. And it's like, oh yeah, I do want to be with a man, because I'm a girl. I see myself as a girl, and I want to be with a man. Oh. Life would have been so simpler if I just didn't have this bullshit. I'm not gay. People don't understand it. It's not about... Gay guys love their masculinity. For me, it's not... It's more of the gender is about me, my self-perception. Even if I didn't have a relationship with anyone, I would still see myself as a girl. It's not about sexuality. It's about something. It's about your self-identity, perception. Anyway, yeah. I'd like to meet a man one day. I think it's kind of odd thing. It's not that odd. Fuck this. I'm making such a big deal out of this bullshit. Such a fucking girly girl. Dramatic. Yeah, it's like... because I grew up in such a patriarchal culture, it's like, it's like it was beaten into me. No, you shall not show feelings. You shall not show emotions. Okay, I can't show emotions. It's like, oh, fuck. So it's like all that conditioning and psychological hammering. It's like, it comes out. It's suppressing. It's oppressing me. My internalized. Whatever violence that's been done to my psychology, the self-harm, the internal psychological self-harm. There's visible self-harm, and there's the self-harm you do to yourself by the thoughts, by those hateful, self-critical thoughts, and self-abusive thoughts. Anyway, yeah, I hope I can find a guy who can see me as I see myself as a or I could be like me, like a this girl, and it'd be good, you know. Uh, God, I wish I could have that fucking relationship. Oh man, I really wish I could have a relationship like that. I could be with this guy, and he's like really, really. I don't know. He's a really cool guy. He's a really cool guy, you know, and he likes me, and he wants to be with me, and he desires me, you know. Oh, I wish I could be with that such a man, such a person, such a human being. Yes, is there such a human being out there for me? Is there? I wish I could be in that kind of relationship with a man, and me being a girl, and you know, so nice. Finding someone, man, it's just, especially if you're like, you know, in this position of being transgendered, is, I think it's becoming better these days. It is, you know, but because the type of guys I like, they're really, you know, I'm pretty like particular. I tend to like sensitive, but dominant personalities, you know, take charge types. The cool guys, you know, the really cool guys who are sensitive, intelligent, and also have somewhat big egos. I seem to be attracted to those type of guys. It's like, even when I was younger, I used to look at these, you know, some of these guys are like, especially back then, you know, some of these guys are like, you know, but I don't know, for some strange reason, if you get into fights, and if some of these, I don't know how to explain it, but there was this one guy who was like really, you know, it's like the alpha male or something. And I was like, wow, cool. He's like cool. You know, like these cool guys. I used to be like, yeah, oh hey, that guy's cool. Yeah. I used to admire them. But I never really thought about things sexually or whatever. But I used to admire them and look up to them. And yeah. Because when I was younger, it's like I had this emotional thing for guys, but my physical attraction was more like girls, so it's like weird. It's like my testosterone was making me. So I do find girls physically attractive, and you know, but emotionally, yeah, it just didn't fit because I think emotionally I need to be with men, and not, you know, sexuality. Yeah, I haven't really explored my sexuality much. I'm not really that into the sex thing, to be honest. Like, to me, emotional intimacy is much more important than sexual intimacy or whatever. For me, the emotional intimacy is where that is much more fulfilling. But yeah, not that I'm dead sexually or whatever, but taking these hormones, it has sort of plummeted my sex drive to almost zero. Where the hell is my mom? So, yeah, I'm not really, you know, these days it's like, maybe I have a female sex drive or whatever it is, but like, I'm not really. But, you know, the person I'm with may be more, you know, but if they want to, I am willing to. It's all about experimenting and trying. I know, I've had physical relations with men, so it's not like completely new, but. Yeah, it's a complicated thing, you know, that whole sexuality thing. Yeah, especially if you're like in this body, you know, I don't know. I've never been comfortable with sex. I've always felt like there's always been a barrier between me and the other person. Some kind of psychological barrier. Maybe because I've never been comfortable with my body. I don't know, but or maybe I think sex is violent because of my childhood. Because I saw my dad and my mom, and they used to get into fights, and I tended to associate sex with violence. So to me, I still maybe there's a psychological barrier where I cannot. It's hard for me to disassociate that connection between sex and violence. So I'm just sort of like I still cannot completely enjoy it or something. So I got to deal with all that psychology, trauma thing, and my own gender issues, and it's like it's fucking complicated. But I hope my life can get simple. I want my life to be simple. Damn it! I don't want to have this complexity. God, I want it to be simple. I want the enjoyments to be simple. Simple pleasures. You know. Jesus, this guy's. Must be a hole in the fence. Anyway, I'm going a long rant.